What's up, guys? I'm Daemonxel, back with another build priority video. This time we're doing a deep dive on the Haradrim, what you should build, who you should build first. Let's talk about it. Alright, so we're talking about the Haradrim today, and when you're building up this team, because this is a great team, not only together. I know Tiid the Sage is a really hard farm currently right now in the challenge store, but they are revamping that store with this update, so we are going to be a little bit more forgiving getting those shards. It's not going to be 2 at a time now, it's going to be 5 and 10. However, it is going to cost more currency to get. But that in mind, let's see who we're going to do here first. Now, if you're building these characters out, the build priority, right, for the characters is in the number 1 spot. You can either do Wout or Robel. Either one of those are great to build first because both of these characters are great as plug and play characters. And you want to, if you're doing both these characters and you're still building up the team, well, you can plug these characters in with another raid team while you're building this team up, right? So yes, you can have the full team, but as you're building these other guys up, you can use these guys to substitute in for additional chapters with another team, such as, the Rohan 3. So, Wout, Robel at the number 1 spot. And the number 3 spot is going to be Tiid the Sage because she is the leader of the group and your healer. After Tiid, you want to do Beidou, and after Beidou, you're going to leave off with Yiftu on the end. So, let's dive right in, go down the list here. Wout, I'm going to choose him as the first build priority. Let's go right into his moves. So, the first build priority on Wout is going to be his special 2. And the reason you want to build this is for the slow. A 2-turn slow, bring this all the way to 6. You definitely want to bring this all the way up to 6. It is required. 2-turn slows works phenomenal in the raids. I don't have that yet. I'm gathering materials. I need to bring these up. Obviously, I need about, 330 rare ability mats to bring this all the way up to 6. As you can see, I'm lacking, and the farm is going slow, but again, we're going off on tangents. But yes, so the special 2 is the first one you want to bring all the way up to 6 on Wout. After you do this move, if you're just building these characters flat out, I mean, you could jump around between all the characters, but we're going to isolate these characters down, and on this specific character, what you're going to build first, second, third, fourth. So, special 2 is first. Second, after the special 2, you want to build his passive, and you want to bring this all the way to 6. It's going to give you that additional 1%, so it's going to be 3% healing for himself, while attacking an enemy with Black Serpent's Poison. And I know I'm talking super fast. I've had a lot of coffee. But the reason why we want to build the passives on all these characters is when we talk about Tiid the Sage's leadership ability, that's going to share all these passives together. They're all going to, in other words, Wout is going to have the entire team's passives. Robel is going to have the entire team's passives. Everyone is going to share the passive. So each character is going to get the heal, a 3% heal of their max health when attacking an enemy with Black Serpent's Poison. Another character is going to deal Black Serpent's Poison with their passive per hit. So it makes sense to bring this up to 6, right? Again, I talk fast, not only due to the caffeine, and not only due to because I don't want to waste you guys' time and keep you here for a long time, but when I'm passionate about something and I'm excited about it, I start rambling and I start going really fast. So, I'll try and slow it down, guys. So we go from special 2, we go to passive. The next thing on Wout will be his special 1. And that's going to be that provoke with a clean. It's going to like a cleanse. Now, it is optional to take this to 6. You're fine at leaving it at 5 to build something else. Ideally, you're going to want to eventually take this up to 6 when you have the ability, when you have the materials to do so, because not only are you getting more damage on this, but you're going to add additional Bane cleaning. So when it's totally maxed out, you're going to have 3 Banes cleanse for himself, which works great in Chapter 3 when he's clearing marked and he's clearing the captured stacks, as well as, you know, the blind and everything else from whatever orcs show up and throw at us. But it's also going to work with the cascade of Banes that we get in Chapter 4. And again, the more you can cleanse, it works that much better. So we're going to go again. Bring it to 6. You're fine at leaving it at 5. Eventually you want to bring it to 6. It's optional to 6. You'll be fine at 5. And lastly, we have his basic. His basic, you can leave at 4, just giving you 150% straight out damage. We're not getting anything special with the basic. We're not getting any additional weakens or exposes or crit chance or anything like that with the basic. It's just straight up damage, and we're using him as a tank and with the utility of the slow AoE. So, that's going to cover Butte. So, let's go to Robel. And the first thing you want to build on Robel, hear me out now, is her basic. And the reason we want the basic is for that turn meter manipulation. We're going to bring that all the way up to 6. It's going to give you 170% damage, but the turn meter is going to give you 25% turn meter every time you hit. And now this has worked phenomenal for me in Chapter 2 when trying to manage stacks of momentum and to make sure that the cave troll doesn't do his AoE or doesn't do a hit. It allows me to get more hits in to progress further with the score. After you do her basic one, obviously we're going to, well, I guess it's not obvious. I was thinking, passive, but that's just me. I brought everyone's passive up first. I did this wrong. But as a plug-and-play character, we want to bring her special 2 up to 6. And that's also because you're going to get turn meter removal. So it's an AoE, but you're also going to reduce everyone's turn meter by 15%. So that's the entire group. So that's going to work phenomenal for you in Chapter 1, right? So not only if you say you get a provoke, right? Say the war troll hits not a taunt, a provoke, and now you need to hit at least 2 more times before that bomb goes off, and as you're looking at the turn meter, you only get to do 1 move and then the bomb's going to go off. Well, this is going to help you by not only applying a hit to that character, because you're hitting everyone, but you're reducing their turn meter, which is going to allow another one of your teammates to hit to allow that bomb to drop. So, we got basic. We have special 2. The next thing we want after special 2, because it's turn meter and turn meter trumps everything, is now we're going to move to the passive. And the reason we want to bring it up to 6 because we always want to inflict Black Serpent's Poison. And remember, when you have this whole team built, they're going to share this passive. So it means every crit you hit, you're going to get Black Serpent's Poison. Again, Chapter 2, Cave Troll, right? You need a crit to remove those stacks of momentum. Well, when you crit, not only are you going to remove momentum, you're going to inflict a stack of Black Serpent's Poison so that they cannot get another stack of Black Serpent's Poison. Not only that, you're going to get 5 focus, and this group definitely needs focus. So now that we got that, obviously the special 1 is going to be your last thing to bring up on Robel. And again, with this one, you're fine at leaving it at 4. You don't need to take it higher. You don't need to gain another stack of defensive. You don't need the additional damage. We got turn meter, and that's what we're using her for, as well as the Black Serpent's Poison and the focus. We don't really need this higher. Use those, that 320 rare materials. Use that across other characters. They're going to be needed elsewhere. So, we've built up Ubute. We've built up Robel. The next one on the list is going to be our leader, Tiid the Sage. Let's go over to her. Now, on Tiid, the first thing we want to build is her special 1. Now, the special 1, obviously, we want to build that up because it is our healer. And we want as much healing as we possibly can, as well as gaining fortitude for 3 random squad members. And that's going to build up the resistance by 25%. So, it's not only going to help you tank, but it's going to heal you. That's what we want to do first. And after we get Tiid's healing up to 6, which is definitely what you need. You can't go lower than 6. You need it at 6. Then you want to go with the leadership ability. The leadership ability here, and I know I keep looking down at my notes here. The leadership ability is optional to 6. You are fine at leaving it at 5, and the reason you're fine is because it's going to give you a block chance. Would the additional 5% damage help? Yes, it would help. Help clear a little bit faster, help you provoke, do more bigger hits, but it's not needed. You can leave this to 5. You're okay leaving this to 5. If you have the ability to bring it up to 6, bring it to 6. But if not, don't worry about it. Don't stress over it. So, next is our special 2. Next is our... I was looking at the wrong one. Next is the special 2. And this, you are fine at leaving it at 5. You don't have to take this to 6 if you don't want to. You are okay with leaving this 5. Because what we really, really want is the haste duration. We want haste for 2 turns. Would it be great to cleanse 2 Banes from all allies? Yes, but that's okay. We have Beidou as well for the cleansing. We really just want the haste from this ability. So bring it up to 5 is perfectly fine. You don't have to bring it to 6. And that's going to leave off Tiid's passive and her basic. So the passive, again, you can bring this up to 6. We want it at 5 because we always want regeneration, and that's going to gain it for everybody. We want the unbreakable. We want the regeneration. Is a second stack regeneration fine? Yes, it's okay, but in most instances, you're not getting a lot of healing from the regeneration, and sometimes you end up dying before that regeneration kicks into play. So you are fine with leaving this to 5. Don't stress to bring it to 6. And the basic, just bring it to 4. You don't need it any further than that. You're just getting 140% damage. We wanted the fortitude. We want to always grant the fortitude. We don't need another fortitude duration here. We're going to get that from our special 1. So now with our leader down, we're going to go over to Beidou. And Beidou, the first thing we're going to do on Beidou is our special 1. And the reason we want special 1 is that is our cleanse, and it's going to grant concentration. And it's also going to gain deadly as you bring this up. So you're going to cleanse 2 Banes. You're going to grant deadly to for 1 turn to 4 allies, if I'm reading this correctly. No, I wasn't. It was just to the 2 allies. I'm sorry. So yeah, we're gonna grant. So not only are your yourself and your 2 most baned allies are going to get concentration, but you're gonna cleanse them, and they're also going to get deadly. So it's going to be a guaranteed crit. Right? That's what deadly is. The guaranteed crits, right? No, it's increased critical chance. I'm thinking of advantage. So yeah, so additional 30% crit chance to those characters as well. So yes, you want to take this all the way up to 6. That is her function on this team, is for that purpose, is for the cleansing. Next on Beidou, we are going to bring up her basic, and her basic is going to go all the way to 6 because we want the additional poison stack, we want the additional damage. But yeah, we want 2 stacks of poison for those 2 turns. And again, it doesn't do, like, again, I know I keep referencing Chapter 2, but in Chapter 2, bleeds work phenomenal, right, against the Stone Troll. Burns work phenomenal. Poison also works. It doesn't work as well as bleeds, I see. It just seems it doesn't take off the same amount of damage, but poison also works. We want that delayed bleed, that delayed damage over time, because the whole team basically works around that poison. Poison, blacksmith poison. That's their niche. Now, after we get this up there, we also want to go to her passive, because they all share the passives, and you are fine at leaving this at 5. You can take the 6, but you're perfectly fine at leaving this at 5. Don't stress about bringing it to 6. We just want the additional 6% damage from 4 and 3, so it's going to give us a total of 20% damage against all enemies. And that's with all enemies with no boons, and that's going to go team-wide. So, now you're wondering, okay, what do we do about the special 2? Well, the special 2, you can bring this to 6 if you want to, but you are perfectly fine at leaving this at 5. Don't stress about it. You're perfectly fine at leaving this at 5. And that's going to bring us to Yiftu. Oh, wrong way. And what we're going to level up on him first is his passive. I know we did different things for other people, but he's basically our crit machine, and we want to bring his passive all the way up because it's going to give us additional crit chance throughout the entire game. So that's a 17% crit chance against while this character has no Banes. So yeah, so that's going to be huge. So we want that across the board. We want this basically to be a crit functioning team. Now, after you bring his passive up to 6, again, it is required to 6. The next thing you want to do in Yiftu is bring his special 2. That would be this one right here. You want to bring that up to 6 as well. That is required because you want the boon dispelling. You want, so 3 boons total. If I'm reading this correctly, we already got 1. It's going to give us another 2. So 3 boons total plus a ton of damage, right? That is 3, 4. So it's 400% damage. And we're going to remove 3 boons. Phenomenal. That's what we want on him. Next on Yiftu is some optional things. You can bring his special 1. That's the next thing we would work on. You can bring that up to 6 if you want to. You are okay with leaving it at 5. 6 is preferred, only because we want to bring that stamina cost from 4 down to 3, which means we can give that expose every 3 turns, and that's going to help us out. And then after that is his passive. And Yiftu's passive, you are fine at leaving it at 4. You don't have to bring it up to 5. You don't have to bring it to 6. Leave it at 4, and you are set. So, that is your build priority on the Haradrim. Now, there is some placement things you want to learn here. I'm going to bring up the actual infographic. Now, when placing these characters, you want... you want to have Robel in that first spot, and you want Wout in the second spot. These are so that they get deadly in concentration from Beclu's special 1. This will help them apply slows. This will help them do turn meter removal, landing, the Black Serpent's poison. So you can start off already with that special 1 when you're starting to fight, and they're going to get that concentration every single time. Unless, of course, the enemy goes first and there is a Bane that needs to be cleansed. Now, Robel and Wout are great plug-and-play options. We talked about this originally in the beginning of the video. Now, you use them in other teams while you're building the rest of this team. And again, this team is basically to control the speed of the fight while adding additional AoEs to whichever team you are adding them to. So, I hope this video helped you guys build the Haradrim. If you haven't already, sunk abilities into them, this is going to help you show what the best things to do first is. I know I'm rambling at this point. I'm tired. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys found it informative. Until I talk to you guys again, have a great week. Have a great weekend. Adventure safe, and good luck to you and your fellowship.